Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to a special episode where we cover threshold climbing for robot vacuums. Threshold climbing has become a big focal point for premium robot vacuums these days, with manufacturers claiming to be able to handle higher and higher thresholds in recent months. With these big changes in the market, and with stair climbing robots looming in the near future, I decided it was time to refine our testing process for threshold crossing. In this episode, we'll cover recent design innovations, our refined threshold test, and we'll do a head-to-head comparison between the two robot vacuums with the highest published climb limits, the MOVA Z60 and the Dreame Aqua 10 Ultra Roller. So by the end of this video, we'll see which robot vacuum is the best at climbing thresholds. You can see these and our other favorite robot vacuums based on independent testing results on the Vacuum Wars Top 20 Robot Vacuum list on our website. Links in the description, and let's get started. In the past, most robot vacuums were limited to about 20 millimeters for threshold climbing. But for floors with height changes between rooms or things like U-shaped chairs, this limitation left robots without access to some parts of homes, even though they might have been on the same floor level. Some manufacturers sell little ramps, which can get the robot where it needs to go, and I'll link some of those that we like in the description, but it's not an ideal solution. Threshold crossing abilities began to climb, starting with Roborock's 40mm threshold claim on the higher-end Crevo and Saros models, and then with Dreame's 60mm limit. But these numbers reflect what they call double threshold, which is any threshold with two layers, as in sliding door tracks or small stepped level changes between rooms. So while these double threshold numbers that manufacturers like to cite are impressive, I'm more interested in what the robot can do with a single level threshold, since I believe that's going to be the more relevant number for most users. For our tests, we start the robots at a 19mm baseline and then add 1/4 inch strips, which are a little more than 6mm each, so we add 6mm for each round until the robot can't cross the barrier. There are a few different ways that robot vacuums can lift themselves. One way is with simple chassis lifting. This is where the main wheels of the robot can extend slightly to lift the whole unit equally. This allows the robot to raise itself for moving over carpet fibers without dragging on the pile. The Narwhal Flow accomplishes its 30mm single threshold lift with a sort of exaggerated version of this chassis lift design, where the main wheels push the robot's front end up even higher to allow it to nose itself over a threshold. Incidentally, in our tests, the Narwhal was able to clear 32mm. Roborock's threshold ability comes from its front wheel lift, which pushes the nose of the robot up until the main wheel can grip the threshold and pull it the rest of the way over. Roborocks have one of the smaller single threshold limits at 30mm. The only one smaller is the Ecovacs X11 at 24mm. But the most successful strategy in the industry so far appears on both of our main contenders in this competition, the MOVA Z60 and the Dreame Aqua 10 Ultra Roller. Both models employ a lifting chassis plus a small leg actuator that extends to jack the robot's front end even further up off the ground. Both of our contenders claim a tiered threshold limit of 80mm max, about 3.15 inches, which is the highest in the industry. However, when it comes to single threshold stats, the Dreame Aqua 10 claims 42mm, where the MOVA Z60 claims to be able to cross 48mm, which is the highest official single threshold number I've seen yet. So when we put these two head-to-head in our new threshold testing system, we found that the Dreame Aqua 10 was able to cross our 44mm threshold, which we logged as its limit since adding another strip to that was more than it could do. But 44mm is really good, and it's actually 2mm beyond Dreame's own specs for the Aqua 10 on a single threshold. We next tested the MOVA Z60, which not only passed the 44mm threshold that stopped the Dreame, but it was able to do one more, and it too also passed its own official numbers to max out at an impressive 51mm, or about 2 inches. That's a full 7mm higher than the Dreame Aqua 10 Ultra Roller, making the MOVA MOVA Z60, the most capable robot vacuum at single threshold crossing. Both of these robots beat last year's limitations by a huge margin, but the MOVA Z60 takes the crown in single threshold reach. So if your home has U-shaped chairs or significant flooring transitions, MOVA's extra few millimeters could make all the difference between seamless room-to-room cleaning and having to rescue your robot. Be sure to check out the Vacuum Wars website for the rest of our favorite robot vacuums, which we have independently bought and tested. We update our recommendations regularly to reflect the most recent testing results, and don't forget to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching. All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new top 20 robot vacuums list, which is updated weekly.